What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to another video. You're here watching No Filter Chels, and I'm going to show you the definition of No Filter Chels in this video because the performance yesterday was absolutely, especially in the last 15 minutes, the first 75 minutes of this game, Chelsea were in this game and they were actually taking it to PSG. And some would say Chelsea were the better team for 75 minutes in this game. PSG were wide open. They weren't necessarily being clinical in front of goal. Yeah, Barcola and Ousmane Dembele scored two goals before the half, but the overall output of PSG yesterday was not that great. But they still scored five goals, which is very scary to think about. That if PSG show up at the bridge next week, it can be an ugly scoreline because the way that they played in the last 15 minutes, they lost their head, they capitulated, and you just saw once again the poor lack of discipline that this team has. So I'm going to quickly go over the Jorgensen and Sanchez drama, the who should Chelsea really be starting as the number one. So we go over here to this post from Tito, right? And CFC Pice also comments on the bottom of it, right? I'm going to start with Pice's stuff first. Genuinely fuming. Rosenior drops Robert Sanchez, who has been top three in the Chelsea's player of the season. And I've said this, he's been one of the players of the season so far with what he's done, the saves he's made, and the fact that he's kept us in a lot of games. And he's been more commanding this season in the box that Flip Jorgensen just has no command and no know-how of being a goalkeeper at the highest level. Jorgensen is supposedly better on the ball, and he literally gives PSG a goal with a pass. It wasn't just the goal that he gave away. It's the multiple times, and even the commentary said it too. Stuart Robinson said it too in the commentary. Why is the goalkeeper? And Andy Townsend said the same thing. I believe it was against Wrexham or it was against Aston Villa. He said the same thing about Flip Jorgensen. Why are you trying to play it out of the back when you have three or four players pressing you? And then three or four players are pressing Caicedo, Reece James, Enzo, Chalaba, right? Or they're pressing Mark Cucurella, Hato when he was out there on the left hand side, right? Malo Gusto, right? Playing balls into players' feet when they're not even open, and then they lose the ball in a bad area, and then the other team is instantly on the counter attack, and it leaves the goal wide open, exposed for them to score. My whole thing is, why is Flip Jorgensen even in goal in the first place? We've already seen enough of a sample size of him to know that he's not cut out to be the Chelsea goalkeeper and to be playing European football at the top level, especially in the Champions League where you cannot make those mistakes. Like I can't stress it enough how much I was getting pissed off yesterday watching him trying to fake out these attacking players and almost losing the ball. It's like, what the hell are you doing in the box trying to do step overs and rolling the ball to your other foot? You don't have the technical ability as a goalkeeper to do that. There's only so few goalkeepers who can get away with playing with the ball at their feet because they're experienced enough to know when to get the ball the fuck out of there, right? So there's a few other things here, man, that we need to talk about when it comes to Flip Jorgensen and his reaction to everything yesterday was just it was just such a bad look, right? So we're also going to slide over here to this reaction. And I don't know if a lot of people saw this yesterday from Enzo Fernandez, but I believe this was after the third goal when he gave the ball away and Vitinha, who had a special second half yesterday, has a fantastic finish, lifts the ball over Jorgensen, and we're going to check out the reaction because I was reacting the same way. What the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, look, throws the ball back at Flip. Like, you're over here passing the ball into us. There's players coming onto us, and you're deciding to play it short. Why aren't you playing it long? And the commentary said the same thing. Get the ball out of there. There's too many players for PSG up. Imagine if you played long balls over the top like you were in the first half for most of the first half. You're going to get in. The few times that he did play the ball long, we got in behind so easily because PSG are playing such a high fucking line, right? Marquinhos is having to go out to fullback to cover Pedro Neto, right? João Neves is out here manual marking Cole Palmer outside the box. That's a mismatch. Why are we not exploiting that more, right? And when I get into Cole Palmer, I'm gonna Like he's another player that is part of the fucking problem here on the pitch right now. I'm not going to get to the board because the board, the sporting directors, and Liam Rosenior's team selection is a separate thing to what the team is doing on the pitch right now, right? So I've showed you this multiple times of how Enzo's reacting to it. So then we go over to this right here where Reece James is telling Flip Jorgensen to go clap to the away supporters, but he refuses. Then there's another angle of it where Robert Sanchez is stopping him and saying, "You need to go clap the away support." And I still think he walks past him and goes straight down the tunnel. Now, it's good that he took accountability after the game by saying, it's on me for allowing this tire to slip away. I will be better, but bro, you can't be having that kind of accountability now. Not in the last 16 of the Champions League. If this was the league phase, say the second game, and you made a mistake like that, there may be, you know, a reasoning on why you did it and, a better explanation. You can't make this kind of mistake and knock out Champions League football where you're on a more difficult side of the bracket and you're making mistakes like this, you're going to get pumped 5-2. You will get shredded 7-0 because you're making the same mistakes that you're making against teams that are worse than you. Like I said against Wrexham, if they make the same mistakes they made against Wrexham against PSG will grade them like fucking cheese. And what do they do the last 15 minutes? Kvaratskhelia specifically grated Chelsea like some fucking Swiss cheese, bro, like some Parmesan cheese. And the fourth goal that he scored, this is why Chelsea need an elite left winger. Did you see what he did yesterday? Kvaratskhelia? He is the only player that I have seen in world football right now that made Reece James a world class right fullback and a very good defensive midfielder. Made Reece James look ordinary as fuck yesterday when he came on. That should tell you everything you need to fucking know about this team right now. When your club captain is looking ordinary out there. And Reece James did not have the best game yesterday. He had moments yesterday where he was good. Reece James was not that great yesterday. And it's time that we start calling out when he performs bad too. Yes, he's one of the most important players. He's one of our own. He's a Cobham boy. He's all that. But he did not have a good game yesterday. But part in part, that reflects on how bad the goalkeeper was yesterday, and how bad the goalkeeper played yesterday trickles down to everybody on the pitch. Once they conceded that third goal, heads dropped, the mentality dropped, the focus dropped, emotions were lost. And this is the story of this Chelsea team this season. They go down, they lose their heads. Calls don't go their way, they lose their heads. They make a mistake in the back, they lose their heads. This team is going to continue to lose its head if they can't get the simple shit down in the back. It's just the reality. They keep making mental mistakes in the back. They lose their heads. They're kicking ball boys because they're frustrated that they're down 4-2, and then you give up a goal towards the very end of the game that essentially puts this tie out of reach. Now, if we're going into to the second leg of this tie down 3 goals, so many things need to be different here, right? Chelsea need to score early and they need to score often in the next game. Now, are they going to score early and often? It just depends if they want to be fucking clinical or not, man. Like it just depends if they want to show up and not make the same mistakes, right? And actually have some type of fluidity when they're in attack, because they had moments yesterday where they were getting in behind and they were passing the ball quickly, 1-2 touch passes, getting it behind that back line of PSG, but they weren't clinical enough. Cole Palmer, this is where I'm gonna get into this, brother. This guy is one of my favorite players on this team. One of my favorite players in world football. When he's on, he is a joy to watch. But there's literally, and I mean literally, no excuse. And this guy has been back for 2 months since he's returned from injury. 2 months. I can understand the first few weeks, you're fatigued, you're trying to get your legs back. Mentally, you're just trying to be back in the mindset of playing football for 90 minutes. Palmer, yes, he's had some assists. He had a hat trick against Wolves. He scored some penalties. Sure, cool. That's all fine and dandy. but the general output of what he's doing right now is awful. And this guy has aspirations to get to the World Cup in the summertime when there's really no English number 10 right now that is breaking down any doors. Eze's not really breaking shit down at Arsenal right now. Jude Bellingham's injured. Morgan Rogers has been missing for the second half of this season, really since he signed that contract extension. Phil Foden can't get on the pitch at Man City. And Palmer has just been a shadow of himself all season. So who is the England number 10 going to be? Right? We don't know. And this is why Palmer has the opportunity to really tell Thomas Tuchel, I'm just in a bad patch of form. I'm going to turn it around. But I just don't see a sign of where Palmer's going to turn it around right now. His touches are off. He seems a lot more lackadaisical on the pitch, and he's just coasting through games. The commentary said it yesterday, too. He is the only outfield player for Chelsea right now. Just seems like he's off the pace. Everyone else, including Pedro Neto to an extent yesterday, was somewhat on it. But when you're not clinical in front of goal like Palmer's chance yesterday, where if he puts it on either side of the goalkeeper, it's 2-1 the other way, and we're probably having a different conversation about how this game is going. But it's just a disgrace, honestly. And to lose 5-2 away to PSG, where they wanted revenge for how we shredded them in the Club World Cup final, they shredded us in the last 15 minutes. And Kvaratskhelia specifically is the absolute X factor in this tie. He showed why teams need somebody on the left-hand side that can actually do what he does and just cook players, get shots off, be direct, take a risk, be decisive, right? That's something that on the left-hand side we just do not have right now. And I've been saying that if Chelsea want to go to that next level, they need somebody on the left-hand side that can play within a manager's system, but it can also be a systemless player. And when the game needs him to do something special, he can go do it. And Kvaratskhelia yesterday came onto the pitch 60 in the 65th minute, I believe, and absolutely turned the game around. And like I said, he's the only player that I've seen make Reece James look absolutely ordinary, like a regular ass player. And we all know Reece James is a world class player, but Kvaratskhelia made him look like a shell of himself for those last 15 minutes. But if we're going to talk about like the board here now, you guys just need to get the fuck out of the club. Like, you guys just need to get the fuck out. 4 years, 2 billion spent on this club, right? And you're telling me you can't go get an elite goalkeeper with 2 billion spent on this club since they've taken over 4 calendar years. 4 fucking calendar years of this shit, man. 4 calendar years. And what have we done? What have we done? We finished 12th. We finished 6th. We finished 4th. Cool, yeah. You see the improvement there, right? But where are we now? We're 5th on 48 points. We're struggling to get into a top 4 spot in the Premier League because we're inconsistent, especially at home. We're capitulating to PSG, where you put in your backup goalkeeper knowing that there's no shot of us winning this game if he makes one mistake. And what did he do? He made numerous freaking mistakes the entire game. And we're sitting here, and I'm seeing some people on Twitter defending Jorgensen. Defending him. How can you defend this? If you're defending Jorgensen, you're defending the board. You're defending Rosenior's team selection. And I like Liam Rosenior. I do think that he can get this team turned around and actually get them into a Champions League spot. But if you're going to sit here and make a bonehead decision once again, because you're trying to see who your number one goalkeeper is, and then you hear that Peter Schmeichel was told by Liam Rosenior that Flip Jorgensen is his number one goalkeeper. And what game are you watching, sir? What game are you watching? Honestly, like what game are you watching? Like realistically, you would have been happy taking this result back to the bridge 3-2 because then it's like, okay, we're down a goal. We get a goal at the bridge. The tie could essentially be ours. You're down 5-2. You can't concede. One goal that you concede against PSG next week is going to absolutely deflate the entire stadium, even though that the Chelsea fans right now are absolutely fucking gutted that this game went the way that it went in the last 15 minutes. But if there's one thing that you can take out of this game to bring to the bridge, is that PSG are so open defensively that if they do score early and often, there is a chance that they can go through. But are they going to do that? Are they going to show up and want it and have the sense of urgency? They had it for 75 minutes yesterday. 10 of the 11 players, really 8 of the 11 players yesterday had a sense of urgency to want to go get this. Why can't all 11 have that? And the three players that I'm talking about specifically, Pedro Neto, Jorgensen, and Cole Palmer yesterday, those three players specifically did not show up yesterday. I don't care about the assist that Pedro Neto got. The overall play that he had yesterday and the way he lost his head yesterday by kicking the ball boy, man. It reminded me of what Eden Hazard did all those years ago. Except this is a bit worse. This is a bit worse. I understand that you're frustrated that you're down, but the ball boy actually gives Pedro Neto the ball, but Pedro Neto is so frustrated and his head is already gone, he decides to push the ball boy down. That's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. You can't be doing stuff like that. You can't risk getting a caution or sent off knowing that the return leg is in 6 days' time. You can't do those kind of things, but it's the ill discipline of this team. It's the poor man management that the board and the manager seem to have. And the one thing that people aren't going to like, what I'm about to say here, is that Enzo Maresca was a big game manager. You're telling me that if Enzo Maresca was the manager for this club in this game, Chelsea are losing this game? I don't think they're losing this game. I don't even think they're drawing. I think they're winning this game. Why? Because Enzo Maresca set up in a way against the bigger teams that they didn't like playing against. Yes, we played on the counter a lot yesterday, but we weren't as effective on the counter. You watched the Club World Cup final. How effective were we on the counter? We swarmed their midfield and we overloaded them on one side, specifically the side that Nuno Mendes was on. And you let Ashraf Hakimi on the other side to do what he does. But the main target was to go after Nuno Mendes. Because if you keep him back, you're also forcing their left winger to also track back to help support. And we caught them out numerous times in the Club World Cup with how Gusto was able to get in behind. Cole Palmer was able to dash through the middle. João Pedro, the same thing, right? Reece James winning balls in midfield. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo winning balls in midfield. But we weren't overloading as much yesterday. But when we did get behind, we weren't clinical enough. We weren't putting the crosses into the box in a timely manner to actually get in behind. It's unfortunate Enzo Fernandez was just offside yesterday when we could have equalized it at 3-3. But this is where you need to continue to pick your head up and stay focused on the task and contain the result. If you weren't going to get the third goal, you needed to hold firm and not concede again. But Flip Jorgensen, after conceding that third goal, absolutely lost his head and capitulated. You can't do anything about that fourth goal because the fourth goal is a wonder strike from a great player. But the fifth, third, and even the second goal to an extent, Flip Jorgensen can do a lot better by saving that goal by saving the second goal. The third goal, yeah, that's all on Flip Jorgensen. The fifth goal, once again, it's just capitulation in the back. And you just it's just disrespectful. Like I'm at a loss for words, man. So Chelsea now going into this second leg have it all to do. Now, could they do it? Anything is possible. But is it realistic? No. I just don't see a world where we're going to score 4 goals at home and keep PSG out of the net. I just don't see a world. I can see us scoring 3 goals next week. Be up 3-0. We can, probably bring the aggregate score back, but all PSG need is 1 goal. 1 goal. And the way that we defend, that 1 goal will happen. So I don't know. I mean, the focus right now is shifting over to Newcastle, who pulled out a decent result, who could have beat Barcelona on Tuesday, but they conceded a penalty in the dying seconds. I mean, where do we go from here? Right? Like, where do we go? Like, where do we go from here? I mean, it's insane to think about this, man. I mean, we're taking a look at the Chelsea fixture list coming up, man. I mean, I just don't know what to really say. You know what I mean? It's like this team right now are just finding different ways to piss off the entire fan base, right? I mean, you're looking at the fixtures coming up. You got Newcastle at the bridge. You got PSG at the bridge, right? So those 2 games, you're already thinking it absolute must wins. PSG by a heavy scoreline. Then you go away to Everton, where Everton are fighting for a European spot, who look a lot better this season under David Moyes as well. So that's not going to be an easy game. Whenever we go to Everton at Goodison and now at their new stadium, which we haven't played there yet, it's always a difficult game. So you're already thinking like something bad may happen against Everton, right? Then you got Port Vale in the cup, who I said, Chelsea, don't you fucking dare. Then you have Man City at home, Manchester United at home, and then you got Brighton away at the MX. And then you have the month of May where you have Forest at home, Liverpool at Anfield, which is going to probably be a top 4 playoff in a sense. Chelsea hosts Spurs with the chance to relegate them, which how funny would that fucking be? And playing at the Stadium of Light on the last day of the season where they may need 3 points to get into the top 4. So, I mean, just looking at this again, man, like Newcastle, PSG, Everton, Port Vale, Man City, Man United, Brighton, Forest, Liverpool, Spurs, and playing at the Stadium of Light the last game of the season. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm probably only seeing about 3 or 4 more wins out of this entire run. And are those 3 or 4 wins going to be enough to get Chelsea into the Champions League? I'm not counting the PSG game when I say wins. The only wins I can probably see here are Newcastle at home, and I'm just talking about the league. Maybe Man United at home, Forest, and Tottenham. Right now, like those are the games that I see us winning. Outside of that, I don't see us getting anything against Brighton. I don't see us doing anything against Man City, but you never know, right? Everton, I can see a draw in that game. I can see us going there drawing or losing. I don't see us winning that game. With how we're playing right now, I think Everton would give us a very, very good game. And when they came to the bridge, that 2-0 scoreline doesn't reflect on how good Everton actually played in that game, where they had chances towards the end of the game to equalize, right? I just I just don't see a world, man. And it's unfortunate because you're looking at the Premier League table, right? Like like you're looking at the table and like I'm moving away from the Champions League because the Champions League right now is just pissing me off, dude. It's I mean, it's crazy because we copied Tottenham yesterday, right? Like how in the hell do we copy the exact same scoreline as Spurs? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about. So you take a look at the top. I'm gonna go top 8, right? Because Chelsea are only 5 points above Everton. So I consider them to be in that those Champions League races and the spots, right? You got Arsenal at the top, Man City, Manchester United, Villa, Chelsea on fifth on 48, Liverpool 48, we're ahead on goal difference. Brentford behind by 4 points, and Everton 43, who travel to Arsenal this weekend, which sh- I which should be a pretty interesting game. You know Everton could probably give them a pretty good game, but I think Arsenal should be able to pull that out. But just looking at this, right? Liverpool hosts Spurs. I'm expecting 3 points out of that for Liverpool. Chelsea obviously hosts Newcastle, so Chelsea hopefully can get the 3 points there. But Aston Villa versus Man United is the game of the weekend. That's going to be a game where there's not going to be a draw in that game. One of those two teams will beat each other, and it's up to us to actually capitalize on that. Are we going to capitalize on that? I don't know, man. We're just so god awful right now in terms of our mentality and focus and being clinical. I don't know. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm over this game. I'm just looking at Newcastle now. But if you got this far in the video, drop a like, comment, sub. I got to get ready for work right now. Share these videos. I appreciate all the love and support. Lately, I'm on a journey to get to 1,000 subs. So if you haven't subbed already, drop a sub, get engaged, comment, like, share, do what you all have to do. Continue to do what you guys have been doing. I'm Jason, no filter Chels. Keep the blue flag line high. Up to Chels. Hopefully, results start to turn around soon. Otherwise, it's going to be a long end of the season. But yeah, I'm out here. Peace.